This is all the action from the British National Mountain Bike XCO Championships, where I probably had the race of my season, but Nathan in the light blue kit went out like he was shot out of a bloody cannon, and all of a sudden I was like, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Look at these boys. They were absolutely full throttle right now. I honestly can't tell you. Like, we're getting gapped already a bit here, and me and Max, and I was just like, oh my god, I need to shut that gap. But at the same time, I have not done any cycling training coming into this, so although I'm feeling fit for running, etc., I am feeling super unfit for bike racing, and I was slightly concerned. So this race, I had to be smart for once, rather than being my usual self where I just absolutely pull the pin at the start, blow every biscuit I have and burn all of my matches in the first like 5 minutes. I had to try and be smart, race smart, and conserve my energy, because I knew it was going to be a long race. We had 6 laps to get through, but you can see the big problem here. I'm stuck behind at the moment. There's a much better line rather than taking the berms into this corner so that you don't get held up as much. So you can see up in the distance, David Bone's already got a bit of a gap. So we're now playing catch up, and your boy does not want to be doing this in the first 90 seconds of a bike race. But anyway, I tried to get past Max here, didn't have the power at all. But anyway, we closed the gap down to Nathan, but you can see Boney's got a little bit of a gap. Now I'm thinking right now, it's probably not a good idea to spike up Giorgio boy and try and close that gap. Max has got other ideas. He goes past and shuts that gap down. Now I'm thinking, don't do it, Giorgio boy, don't burn your match, and then boom, I do it. I can't help myself, ladies and gentlemen. I'm talking about racing smart, but when the front of the race is just there, you got to bloody jump on that train. And I jumped on that train, and this is where Boney just absolutely opens it up. So Boney's the one in the blue kit on the front right now. There was absolutely nothing I could do about this, because I felt like I needed to be on his wheel going down this descent, but you can see how much of a gap he's putting in, and I've got Max in front of me. There's no way you can get, or it is very difficult to get past someone on this descent without risking taking both of us out. So there was absolutely no point me trying to get past, so I just had to sit in, try and recover from that super fast start. But if you look up ahead, Boney's already taken that corner. The guy is sending it down this descent. He is going, ladies and gentlemen, and we are watching the front of the race pull away from us, and there is zero Giorgio boy can do about it. Even if I was on the full suspension right now, there's no way I could have got past. And to be honest, I don't think it would have made any difference for me. Hardtail, full suspension, it was marginal, and I would have struggled more on the climbs. But you can see I'm not taking some of the berms on this course, because there's actually, on a lot of these, there was actually a straight line which was way faster than taking all the berms. Some people might disagree, but I just felt like that straight line was definitely faster for me. Anyway, you can see now when we come into the final part of the descent, Boney is gone. He's not even on the descent anymore. The man has started the climb. Absolutely phenomenal descending, and that is how you can lose a race, through not being fast enough downhill. Big problem is for me, I just couldn't get past to even try and stay with him. But I came into the bottom of this descent, and I'm going to speed this up in a minute because you do not want to see me climbing terribly, but this is when I had to rein it in. They started really pushing in front, and I knew it would have been game, set and match with 5 laps to go. So by the time I got to the top of this climb just here, they were nowhere to be seen. They were gone, and your boy was signed, sealed, delivered, dispatched. But I managed to settle into a good rhythm now. I forgot about those front 2 riders. I sat in 3rd place, so really happy with that, coming into the main big descent down to the bottom. And if you saw on the left there, you could see there was a group of about, I want to say there was maybe 4 or 5 of us in this group now, and I'm on the front, so I knew just get me big backside in the way and don't let anyone past. And then it doesn't matter if you're on a full susser, a hardtail or what, but I was pushing my limits on this downhill, and it doesn't matter what bike I was on, I probably don't have the skills to go any faster than this down the descent, I'm not gonna lie. And so basically I just pushed as hard as I could on this descent all the way down to the bottom and managed to keep the group behind me. But the boys at the front, they were gone now, so it was basically about trying to figure out what was a pace that I could maintain for another 5.5 laps. There was a lot of climbing in this race. There was over 1,100 meters, and in local races around here you just do not get that sort of climbing, so it was killer. Don't get me wrong, going down these descents was absolutely wicked. It doesn't matter what bike you were on, it was fast, it was fun, and you were just like white knuckle riding it all the way down. But we got to the bottom, and as you can see, the boys are nowhere to be seen. But when I go around this next corner, you'll see the group of us now. So there was 1, 2, 3, 4, I think there was 5 of us. So we've hit the bottom of the descent. I'm on the bottom of the climb. I'm starting to go up, and I'm thinking I've just got to pace this. I cannot afford to blow my biscuit, and I'm still putting out decent watts, but there was a headwind as well, and I'm looking round, I'm thinking someone come round. Grant comes round, he's going too bloody fast. He was on a mission up this climb, so I couldn't go with him, but thankfully Lewis come round, and I was just like, right, jump on his wheel. Now I'm not going to lie to you, ladies and gentlemen, I was a wheel sucker. I done as little work on the climbs as humanly possible because I did not have the fitness. But let me tell you one thing, Lewis in front of me right here is an absolute sender on the descents. Oh my word, if this boy gets like super fit, look at him, he's sprinting. I thought I was going into the start of an enduro. Look, he's sending it over these jumps. And my word, can this lad descend. I don't care if I was on, what you could have given me any bike, a downhill bike, I could not descend as fast as him. He had some serious ability, and every time on the descents, look at that, he was dispatching me, he was dropping me, but I was managing to close the gap down on the climbs each time, and we now had a right old battle on our hands. So he was setting a great pace for me. We were in 4th, 5th position, but I knew I needed to get into that descent before him, so I put a little effort in. Thankfully, one of the vet riders came past me as well, Giles, so he managed to just set a good pace. The good thing is about this race is because of the fast vets behind you, they catch up, go past you, and they're not actually, I don't want to put them down, they're not actually that fast on the descents, so they set a good pace for you. And they also block the track when Lewis gets in front of me on a descent, which is bloody lovely, which you'll see in a bit. But anyway, Giles basically sends us all the way down to the bottom. I'm then on the front, and we are in 4th place. You can see top left there, that is Grant. He is 3rd place in our race, and honestly I didn't think we were going to shut the gap down, but then we came into the descent and he is parked right on my line. I nearly rear-ended him right there. I just had to hit the brakes before I took his left butt cheek out. But we're back up into 3rd place now, ladies and gentlemen. Spoiler alert, 1st and 2nd, we will not see them ever again. But Lewis does an absolute outrageous overtake here and gets in front of me. I love that. If you're not rubbing, you ain't racing, ladies and gentlemen. I respect the man for getting past me there. I was holding, look at the jumps he's doing in front of me. He is a sender. Oh my God, if this guy gets super fit, he is going to be dangerous in bike races, I can tell you that. But yet again, Georgie boy is wheel sucking. I am sat on his wheel all the way up this climb. I am doing zero work. Say what you want, but your boy is not doing any work. This time he accelerated a little bit to make sure I didn't get into the descent before him. But good news, ladies and gentlemen, these couple of vets had just overtaken us before, and unfortunately they were holding Lewis up. So thank you, vets, for overtaking us, because it meant that if you look in a second when we get towards the bottom of this climb, he's getting held up right now. So it meant any gap they had on me, I managed to shut back down and get back on his wheel before the climb. So thank you, vets, thank you, grand vets, whoever you were. You blocked Lewis from absolutely dispatching me and sending it down the descent. But when we did get to the top of the next climb, he dispatched me well and truly. He is right down out of sight right now because he sent it on this descent. But thankfully, when we got to the bottom, Mr. Nick Craig, Sir Nick Craig, was battling it out for first and second with Mark here, and I just jumped on their wheel and they towed me. So couple of 50 plus boys, they know how to shift up a climb, but I sat on their wheel, they towed me all the way up, and thank you, kind sirs, thank you, gentlemen. We are back in the race for third place because they have just pulled me back into contention for that final spot on the podium, and now the battle was on. We were 45 minutes in, 3 laps in, about halfway. You can see Nick's moved over to the right. He didn't even want to take the wind, but we stayed with those boys. And then look at that guy on the left. I think that's Mark. He was like attacking through the feed zone. Respect the man, attack wherever you want. And yet again, I am pushing through to get in front of Lewis before the descent. Chopper move, I know, but it's racing, ladies and gentlemen, and I needed to be into the descents before him because he was dispatching me every time. I then had to make a big effort to close the gap, so I got my backside in the way and blocked him. But it was this climb right now where I think we were both hurting. I'm not gonna lie, I was in the locker. Lewis ends up coming round and I'm thinking, no, please, no. He's going to dispatch me down the descent, and watch this. It's absolutely phenomenal. This will open your eyes about why it is so important to be a good downhill rider. I have never been good. I've always had problems since breaking my hand in a bike race, going over the handlebars. But look at the gap he got. That was him on the right there, go past. Being a good descender saves you time, saves you energy, and you will just put people in the hurt box. So you see, thankfully this bio racer guy came round me, towed me back on again. Thank you, kind sir. And we were back on Lewis's wheel yet again, being a wheel sucker, as you do. But this time I was like, right, I need to get in front of him before the next descent. But I also needed a bottle from Del Boy. But then I couldn't get past these two guys here that were also taking a bottle. They wanted to like drop bottles. Lewis then overtakes me on the left. You can see here I'm trying to get past best I can. Couldn't quite get past. Lewis gets into the descent first. Bloody nightmare. I then had to try and bridge back on this climb, and he was shifting now. He wanted to get into the next downhill first, but thankfully, ladies and gentlemen, the old Vet 40s blocked him again. I don't know if these were lap riders, Vet 40 riders, but they saved my bacon because it meant that we had to all slow down because you just couldn't get past unless you were going to be a 10 out of 10 whopper chopper and take everyone out. You could not get past. But anyway, we have got a lap and a half left to go, and it was just up here where Grant, who crashed earlier, came steamboating past. Don't get me wrong, I'd have loved to go with him for that battle for third, but I couldn't. But thankfully, he wasn't that fast at descending, so we managed to shut the gap back down, and he also managed to stop Lewis pulling away from me. So it was win-win. We got down to the bottom of the descent. There was now 3 of us battling it out. Grant makes a mistake here. I have no idea what on. Thin air by the looks of it. But he was on the front, 3 of us battling it out for the final spot on the podium, and it was, I'd say, exciting. It was bloody painful, but Grant started to attack on the climb. I thought about going for it. This right here is where I should have bridged across and gone with him. I didn't have the minerals, and you'll see how quickly, that is him on the left. He's opened up a big gap. What does Georgie boy do now? He now decides he wants to try and get on his wheel. That was stupid, absolutely stupid. I did manage to bridge over to Grant, but the problem was I sold my soul with one lap to do it. If I'd gone with him when he initially made that attack, I would have been able to just sit in there, dig deep, and wouldn't have had to make the big surge to get on his wheel. Anyway, I'm now back in third place. I've got Grant on my wheel. Problem was I couldn't get past this guy here, and same thing as earlier, you just can't be a chopper. Everyone's racing. Like, he was taking the berm line, and you'll see here you get a much better entry into this corner and you manage to get past, but I was pushing my limits on these descents right now, trying to drop Grant, trying to get as far away from him as possible, because I knew when it hit that climb he was going to be way stronger than me based off the whole race. We've got about 15 minutes of racing left. He then went to the front on the climb, and Giorgio boy, there's absolutely nothing left. I'm Ian Bill, I've got nothing, engine light kaput, and he pulls away from me. I'm doing like 0 watts here because I just needed to stop pedaling. But that's him on the left there. By the top of the climb, he had fully dispatched me, and all I thought was, next descent, you're gonna have to absolutely give it beans. I tried my best to give it beans, but honestly, there was just no stopping him on the climbs. You'll see just there, that is him. It wasn't a huge gap by the bottom of the descent. Problem was, when he hit the climbs, he was way stronger than me, but thankfully Mr. Freshwater came past me. I think he's in the Vet 50 race, so he's made up about 4 minutes on me, or 2 minutes, whatever it is, but he towed me all the way to the top. We did start to close the gap towards the end on Grant, but not quite enough time, and I ended up coming over the line 4th place, 2nd place in the 30 to 34 category, so I managed to sneak on the podium. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you in the next one.